interview situation, we're going to be doing a restaurant manager interview. So we're going to show first an example of a good interview, and then we're going to move on to a bad example. In our video for both situations, we included different types of interview questions. We included our situational interview by giving a situation, a job-related interview question that's specific to a restaurant, a stress interview question, which is often like a quick question that places a lot of stress on the employee to get an honest answer, and then a behavioral interview about how you would behave in a context of a restaurant. This interview type is one-on-one, and it's an online video interview conducted via Zoom.
Before you do any interview, there's a couple steps that you can go through that will ensure that your interview goes smoothly and that you look prepared for the interview as the interviewee. So the first step is what you're wearing to the interview. In this situation, business casuals, fine for the interview due to kind of the culture of the company, and this can change depending on what type of interview you're going to. Next step is checking your surroundings. I made sure that lighting's good in my area, my desk isn't cluttered, and there's nothing in the background that would hinder your interview or be distracting. Next, you want to make sure that your internet works. You're familiar with the software that you'll be using, whether it's Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Skype, whatever it may be, and you're just generally prepared for the worst and anything that can come for you. Next, you always want to do a dry run. Preparation is always important. Practicing it makes it go a lot easier. And lastly, and most importantly, is making sure that you're relaxed and you're yourself throughout the whole interview.
Hi, welcome to your interview at our restaurant. Can you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. First off, thank you very much for this opportunity. It really means a lot to me. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Tampa with a management degree. I have a little bit of experience in the restaurant field, just working as a busboy at a local bar and grill back in my hometown in Akron, Ohio. And overall, I'm just really looking forward to the next chapter in my life and my career, and I think this could be a really good fit for me.
In the restaurant world, there's a saying that goes, the customer is always right. Can you tell me about a time when you knew the customer wasn't right, but how you dealt with the situation to ensure that the restaurant didn't suffer losses, but the customer was still satisfied with the results?
This is a delicate situation. I feel like there needs to be a diplomatic answer to it. As you said, the customer is always right, and there has been a few situations where I feel like it has been a little difficult to get to a win-win situation, but I do feel like I always get there. At my former restaurant where I had a customer insist that his medium rare steak was overcooked, and so I took it back to the chef and had him check the temperature of it and the color to ensure that it's been cooked correctly as I thought it had been. After ensuring it was cooked right, I returned to the customer and explained that how we cooked it was our medium rare there, and if he wanted to cook to a specific temperature, we could happily accommodate him. We then brought it back and got the customer a new meal, and overall he was really satisfied with the experience.
As a manager, it is important to maintain health and safety at work. How would you keep yourself and your colleagues safe at work?
First, I'd ensure that the employees thoroughly understood the health and safety protocols in the restaurant. I think that's a really important part, and I believe sometimes they really don't understand what those protocols are. And then next, I'd run training for my new employees, as well as having random and scheduled testings on a monthly or weekly basis to ensure that the employees really understand and can apply these health and safety codes to their fullest capabilities.
How would you deal with reprimanding a subordinate during his shift? Would you do it publicly or privately, and how would you react based on the severity of the incident?
In this situation, I believe it's always important to handle them outside of the public eye, and it's also just as important to handle these situations in a non-aggressive way as well. If I do notice that a subordinate is continuing these attitudes, then the severity of the punishment would have to increase up until the point that I'd eventually have to let them go due to a failure of them being able to change their actions.
Suppose you were faced with the following situation. a customer is yelling at a server about the quality of the food, and the customer is standing and causing a scene by asking for the manager. What would you do and how would you intervene?
I'd confront the customer with a polite attitude and quite simply ask, hello, is there an issue here and how can I help it? I'd make sure I'd get both sides of the situation with the customer, but keep in mind that saying that we talked about earlier, the customer is always right, just to avoid any further conflict. Once figuring out exactly what the problem is and ensuring that there's no longer a scene, I'd find a way to accommodate to the customer and ensure that the employee did no wrongdoings.
Hi, I'm Ben Onofrio. I'm here for the job interview. It's great to meet you.
Hey, what's up? So let's start and get this thing over with. I'm missing way more important things for this.
Oh, I'm sorry you had more important things to do. I'll try and make this as quick and as good as I can. So I recently just graduated from the University of Tampa with a major in business and a minor in history, and I'm very happy to come and, share what I've learned with the company.
Where did you graduate? Why'd you choose that school? I heard their business program's average.
Well, I chose the school mainly for the location and the price and because it made a lot of sense for me financially. But I also chose it because I made a lot of connections through the business school that I felt really helped me succeed and actually helped me set up this job interview.
Anyways, so why did you choose our restaurant?
So I chose your restaurant specifically, obviously, because you guys had a stellar recommendation from a friend of mine I met at university and a stellar reputation for providing good food and good service. And I really thought that's something I wanted to be a part of.
You know this position is extremely hard. Do you think you'd be able to even keep up?
So I find personally that I do very well with challenges. I think this job would be no exception. I think I'm up for any task and willing to learn.
Tell me about a time that you really messed up at work. Why'd you do that?
Well, I think I try to do my best every day to really not mess up, but occasionally I do make mistakes. In the past, I've had, things like scheduling errors that have caused tough situations and caused the company some money. But I really feel like besides that and, the common mistake, I've always been a reliable worker.
Okay. So let's just say we hire you and you're placed into a restaurant that's mainly full of female coworkers. Would you be able to handle that situation? Being around the opposite gender, would it impact your ability to perform well?
No, I don't think that would influence my ability to do my job at all. I find I, work effectively among all crowds. I don't really pay attention to things like gender, race, or sexuality. I think, that's just not something that needs to be taken into consideration when I'm doing this sort of work.
You seem stressed already. Do you even think you can handle this position?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit stressed right now, but that's just because this interview is going a little intensely. But I feel like I can cope with the stress that this job comes with, and I appreciate the opportunity if you give it to me to do so.
Okay, so let's say a customer has gone rogue and is screaming at you and our staff. What would you do? You seem like the type of person that might yell back. But anyways, just tell me how you'd handle it.
Well, I just feel like I'm excellent at de-escalating most situations. I think I would just come up to the customer, break it down to them, tell them how it is, and try to calm them, inform them that it's a place of business and we obviously can't have them melting down inside, and maybe give them some more thing, have them contact a manager, give them a comment card, maybe comp the meal. It would obviously be situational depending on what specifically was taking place.
What would your last boss say if I gave them a call right now asking why you don't work there anymore?
Well, my last boss actually liked me quite a bit. We parted ways mutually, mostly because I was looking to do bigger and better things with my career, and that's what ended up with me here.
What did you earn at your last job? Do you expect to make that much here?
So I made $18 an hour at my last position, which I thought was a competitive rate for the type of work that you're asking me to do, and I very much do expect to be earning the same or similar amounts here. But if that's something you think I have to work up to, I'm very amenable to that sort of situation.
Do you have any disabilities or religious observances that I should know about?
I really don't feel comfortable answering that question in this environment right now. I don't think that's really relevant to my work at all or what I'll be doing for you guys. Do you mind if we move on to the next one?
Out of all the great candidates that I've interviewed already, what makes you so special? And why should I choose you?
I feel like I'm the type of person to go above and beyond in whatever situation. And I feel like I would be very reliable, very hardworking. I feel like I would be a good asset to the company. I feel like you would be able to quickly and easily hold me accountable for any problem you have.
It was really nice interviewing you today. I'll give you a call sometime and let you know if you even got the job.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate the time. It was cool getting to come in and meet you. I hope you didn't miss anything too important.
I hope you guys enjoyed our video. Because our unit and chapter we covered was interviewing, we decided to come up with a creative and subtle way to show the differences between a good and bad interview. And to help make those differences more concrete, I'm going to recap really quickly some of the key points we tried to show. So in the good interview, it's definitely clear that the interviewer, which I played the part of, tried to maintain a professional relationship throughout the entire interview. They also tried to stay engaged during the entire length of the interview, and Brian, the interviewee, brought up real examples from his past job experience to help answer the questions more in depth. In the bad interview, it's shown that there's not a mutual understanding of professional relationship. The interviewer comes off as rude right in the start and maintains this uncomfortable air as the questions that are asked definitely stray from the responsibilities a typical restaurant manager would have for a job. And we see that the interviewee stumbles his way through these questions to the best of his ability, but his success is partially based on Caitlin, the interviewer's manners and questions. So thank you everyone for watching.